It's time for a cup of coffee with Will and Chris at Slumberland Furniture. From Slumberland Furniture in Osage Beach, here are your hosts, William Holtz and Chris Schneider.
Hey, it's a New Year edition of A Cup of Coffee from Slumberland at the lake. And Uncle Chris, just like that, the new year is here.
Yeah, boy, I tell you what, the older I get, the faster time flies, man. This 2025 flew by.
Well, I hate to tell you, we're aging at the exact same rate, and it's the same case for me. And if we look at this week's show, it's action-packed. Hey, Camden County, we talked about they might need an audit. They might really need an audit.
We're talking some big, huge numbers, and there's a lot of questions.
You know, millions potentially being robbed from Road and Bridge. We'll talk about that. Plus, hey, the Kansas City Chiefs set to leave the Show Me State. Can you believe it?
I can believe it. Yeah, saw it coming.
That all about money. We'll talk about that. Plus, have you noticed the flu seems to be getting worse and worse, of course, post-COVID. We'll talk about that. Plus, believe it or not, remember that Camden County deputy?
Yeah.
The Owl Whisperer?
The Owl Whisperer, right.
Believe it or not, he might have done it again. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more after this from our friends at Slumberland at the Lake.
Hey everybody, it's Daryl Cunningham with Slumberland Furniture at the Lake. Happy New Year, and a new year brings new sales. We have discounts for every room in the house. Not only are we taking discounts, you're going to get 0% interest on top of the discounts for 36 months. Come see us at Slumberland Furniture, where we're bringing happy home.
A cup of coffee as we wake up, in the car, or right here on Lake TV with Will and Chris. Kind of like driving, we do it every single day.
But we shouldn't do it while distracted. Did you know that drivers who text are 23 times more likely to be in a crash? So keep your eyes on the road and always remember to buckle up and put your phones down.
This Drive Safe, Boat Safe message brought to you by Price and Randall Injury Attorneys.
Now back to your cup of coffee with Will and Chris.
Yeah, always a great reminder to drive safe and boat safe year-round around Lake of the Ozarks, whether you're on land or probably not likely, but on water. And I will say, saw a couple of boats out on the water this weekend before that weather turned. What'd you think about the weather turn this last weekend?
I thought it was pretty cool. You know, well, it was interesting because we were in Omaha for Christmas, but you know, on Facebook, like all of my friends are making a point of it to take the boat out on Christmas Day because it's, you know, in the 70s. It was pretty cool to see all of those. But yeah, and then 24-hour change where it goes from 70s to teens, that was pretty crazy.
Yeah, it sneaks up on you. And as we celebrated the Christmas holiday, just like that, and the new year coming in. So it's an exciting time for a lot of people. Some people may not be as exciting for is the Camden County Auditor's Office. We told you last week, right, in the Christmas edition show that, hey, there's some questions about some money, where it should be going, because Jimmy Laughlin, who is Camden County Auditor, had proposed his 26th annual budget. And in that budget, it included $10 million in cuts, $7 million to Road and Bridge from 2025's budget, and $3 million to the Sheriff's Office from 2025. We saw a lot of posts online. We asked some questions, and Camden County Auditor Jimmy Laughlin has actually come under great scrutiny since this proposed budget showed, as I said, those $10 million in cuts. And you notice those were the only two proposed cuts in the budget from 2025. There's been a lot of controversy, questions, and attention, and we already know that Camden County will be audited. That'll be a 16-month process. We anticipate that'll begin in the middle of 2026, and the commission voted to approve that audit request with the state of Missouri back in December. But it won't take a state audit, Chris, to showcase some very concerning findings in regards to the Camden County Road and Bridge getting the short end of the stick from Camden County, and I'm going to say all the way since 2008. So you ready for it?
Wow. Since 2008. Wow.
So in 2007, the Camden County voters were sold at the time by the commission, and the sheriff were sold a 0.5% tax raise through a levy. It was earmarked 50% of that money, that excess tax collected, would go to Road and Bridge, and 50% of that excess tax would go to the Sheriff's Department. Since 2008, this tax has generated roughly $92 million that has been collected and distributed by Camden County. So if you're talking 50% to sheriff, 50% to road and bridge, you're talking each of those departments over the last 18 years roughly has gotten 46 million, right?
Right. Just simple math.
Well, actual appropriations, as you can see here, of the $92 million since 2008, staggering to see just $5.4 million of that 90 plus million went to road and bridge.
Just
5.4 million
Wow.
went to road and bridge. That made up a 5.9% of that tax collected. Now, the sheriff's office didn't get as big of a slight based on the fact they were supposed to get 50% or 46 million. They actually collected about 38.4 million from that tax, which equates to about 42%. Now, the big thing, which is hard to understand, is there was $43.9 million of this levy tax collected that you, the voters of Camden County, approved. 43.9 million of that money has been unappropriated, which makes up nearly half, which goes into the general budget for the commission or the auditor or whoever runs Camden County's budget, their discretion where that $46 million goes. So that's the first thing that seemed concerning, that money, the voters said, hey, I want that to go to road and bridge. I want that to go to the sheriff's office. We don't mind you increasing our taxes. We'll pay it. We want to ensure we have better roads. We want to ensure we have great law enforcement, so we're fine with you increasing our taxes. However, those Camden County taxpayers have given an excess of $92 million since 2008, and it hasn't gone where the taxpayers and the voters thought it would. The second issue that I have is in 2013, there was a proposed use tax, which was 1.25% for all online purchases. So that was earmarked 100% to road and bridge. You'll see right here back in 2013, Commissioner Chris Franken signed off that the use tax sold to the voters and passed. Camden County passed this for 1.25% to be generated to go to road and bridge. Since 2016, when that went into effect and has been collected, Chris, take a guess how much the use tax has generated the last 9 years.
And that's 1.2%. I would say, gosh, it had to raise 20 million.
Yeah, very close. $15 million since 2016, and it's projected to generate $3 million in 2026. Now you remember, Jimmy Laughlin proposed a 2026 budget to the commission in December, which was tabled. This is where this all began.
Yeah.
In his budget, you can see the 2025 road and bridge budget was over $15 million. The proposed 2026 budget, just $7.5 million, which is $8 million less in 2025, and includes $0 coming into their budget from the use tax and only 4% of the half-cent levy from 07. That seems to be concerning, especially when you're talking about making a 50% cut to a department, okay? Now, not just proposed cuts to two of the most important county departments we have, but a massive shortage to the Camden County Road and Bridge Department. Just from the 07 half-cent percent sales tax increase voted on, the use tax from the 2013 online purchase at 1.25%, you figure in cart funds, vehicle sales tax, property and real estate tax, which automatically 11% goes to road and bridge. It appears Camden County will collect roughly $15 million in 2026 based on their projections for road and bridge, while only allocating $7.5 million to road and bridge, while adding the excess $7.5 to $8 million into its general revenue. That seem crazy to you?
Yeah, it does. It seems like there's a lot of missing money.
Correct. So if you talk about road and bridge, you also, the sheriff's department, right? They're going to lose $3 million
Right.
next year's budget, which is equating to at least 3 deputies they would have to cut. Well, if you look at that levy, correct, that I was talking about from 07, 50% road and bridge, we know road and bridge was getting the shaft. Well, if you look at the sheriff's side, it's under less right here category. You see that the first couple of years, they got their full 50%. Okay, then it started to dwindle down into the high 40s, mid 40s, and then in 2019, make your way into the 30s, and you stay right there about 38, 39. And look at 2024. You see that it's at 38.9% in 2024. What happened in 24?
I don't know what happened in 24.
New sheriff was elected who didn't have law enforcement background in regards to running a budget, knowing how you're going to get your funding. out of nowhere, if you look right here at the 2025 and Chris Edgar's first year as sheriff, they decided to drop his percentage from 38.9 to 20%. He only received of that use tax $1.3 million. And now that it's been called out, if you look at the 26 budget, it goes back up to 39%. What is that anomaly right there in 2025 where you miss $1.3 million, give them 20% less, and then now next year we're gonna go back? That's another question I have. Not to mention that all of this collectively means there's millions of dollars going somewhere and the county is saying we're broke. Sales tax is down. We have to make cuts. We're going to be looking at potential layoffs. And what this does is it then pits everybody against the commission because the commission signs off on this. So if they have to make tough decisions and the commission won't approve a budget increase, it makes it look like those departments are at odds. It's interesting. Road and Bridge has lost about $40 million that was rightfully theirs over these last 17 years. And the sheriff's office has roughly $15 million before we even talk about the cuts headed into 2026. I did reach out to Camden County Auditor, Jimmy Laughlin, asking for an explanation. I also wanted to know, seeing the 13 use tax was earmarked 100% Road and Bridge. It's not in their budget. If you look at the proposed 2026 budget, the income, the revenue that makes up their budget, none of those line items refer to the use tax from 2013. So I want to know how that money is being appropriated. $15 million the county has collected based on that use tax. Be interesting. I did also reach out to Sheriff Edgar, and we'll share a reply from him. But in 2021, the sheriff's deputy also got an increase passed, if you remember, on the ballot.
Yeah.
And based on my understanding, they've yet to see any of those funds.
How is that possible?
That is wild, but it is an overwhelming pattern of, even if it's just an error, like an error in bookkeeping, which I highly doubt that's the case, there's going to be things during this audit in Camden County, and I believe that Camden County voters and citizens have much to be concerned about, and you should be attending meetings, you should be asking questions, and you should be wondering, why are our roads not as good as they should be? Because there's been millions and millions in excess tax collected, voted on, that should have been distributed through Road and Bridge. That has not.
I would like to know where all of this money is gone, right? I mean, we're talking millions and millions and millions of dollars here. If it just disappeared, then where did it go? Right? Into the general budget.
Jimmy Laughlin explained that they did a one-time spend down with cash reserves, that the budgets would have to go back to a normal level in years to come. But I asked him, what is your definition of cash reserves? You talking about tapping into the CDs that the Camden County Commission has with the bank? Because that is their cash reserves, are multi-million-dollar CDs. So you're tapping into those. The general budget is what I believe Jimmy Laughlin is referring to, where they can at any point in time say, hey, we need to put more money there, let's take it out of the general. We needed to put more money there. But what about the departments that are struggling, needing resources, and relied on the most in Camden County, and why are they the ones getting the shaft? Those are the questions people want answered.
See, and I would wonder if this is, it would seem to me, I don't know how the laws are written, but it would seem to me that laws have been broken if voters voted on something that was specifically supposed to go to Road and Bridge and sheriffs, and then they didn't. Isn't that breaking some law?
Yeah, I don't know how you could go around that unless no one's asking or paying attention. But having newly elected individuals in there that weren't privy or around during those times would certainly make it easier should there be something nefarious. But when the voters said, yes, you can raise our taxes so long as we say 50% of that excess goes here and 50% of that excess goes here, how can an elected official say, yeah, but we know you wanted it for this, we taxed you extra, but we need to put some over here, and we need to put some over here. And down the road, that might mean that those budgets get completely sloshed and cut while these ones are thriving. It just is not adding up to me, and I don't think that I'm the only one at this point that has serious questions for the Camden County Auditor.
Obviously not. But the interesting thing is that, so you had the first one in 07-08, and that was apparently, spread somewhere else.
But they're still collecting
You've got two new taxes on top of that since 08, including the one in 21. that again was supposed to go to help the sheriff's department. It's crazy.
Not to mention, there's a huge, overwhelming controversy right now about the opioid money that Camden County took in, that a lot of our leaders said they don't want to take that excess money. It was supposed to go to the drug courts. Well, I just was listening to a recording from a meeting last month that showed the drug courts are wondering, where is our money? Can we not get access to our funds? And they said, well, we'd have to have a judge sign off on it. She goes, they did, and they have the proof. The judge signed off on where the funds should go. So there is some serious questions, and I gotta say, this audit coming for Camden County from the state of Missouri in 2026 cannot come fast enough.
Yeah, I agree. I really want to find out where that money went.
Yeah, credit to, I want to say credit to Commissioner James Gohagan. He's in there right now asking these questions, digging these things up. And then also Stacy Shore. She has been, out there asking questions, looking through minutes, finding things. So we'll keep you posted right here on Cup of Coffee. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. But you guys think that it's more than overdue for someone to take a look
That's
at
a lot
Camden
of money.
County's books.
A lot of money.
Massive
Yeah.
amount of money. All right, so hey, in other news, I think everyone probably saw this, but hey, the KC Chiefs are leaving Missouri.
Yeah, saw this coming. So this has been brewing for the last few years, right? The Chiefs, they want a new stadium. Arrowhead is great, but it doesn't have all those skyboxes that the other teams have, that they make a lot more money, and stuff like that. So the Chiefs are moving to Kansas. Kansas puts together a better deal offer than Kansas City did. And so this is coming, man. New Dome Stadium will be part of a mixed-use district there in Kansas and a best-in-class training facility, team headquarters, mixed-use district in Olathe, totaling a minimum of $4 billion in development.
Remember when stadiums were 20, 30, 40 million?
Yeah.
Not that long ago?
But you know what? That ship has sailed. And I was in Dallas when the Cowboys wanted, Jerry Jones wanted to build a new stadium in downtown Dallas, right? And he said, I'll pay for half of it if you pay for the other half, right? Which that was generous back then. And Dallas said, nah, we don't want to do that. And the city of Arlington stepped up. Now they make more money than God, right? Yeah. Because they've got a whole district down there. And the Rangers, so, you've got two different things going on. You might say, well, why should, public money go to a private team? But this is a money generating program, right? Yeah. I mean, and you're cutting off your nose to spite your face if you shoot this down, which Kansas City has done. So Kansas steps up, takes it, and they're going to get the big payoff. They're going to make it.
And potentially, this is not final. If you'll remember, it looked like the Chiefs were going to stay in Missouri. Yep. There was a petition or a lawsuit filed by State Rep Mike Moon and another private lawyer who said, hey, Missouri, you're giving this private franchise way too sweet of a deal on the backs of Missouri taxpayers. We don't want this. And so now that Kansas has successfully offered a sweet enough deal, it only takes somebody in the state of Kansas to file suit and say, no, we're giving them too sweetheart of a deal. And so I'm not 1,000% that this is certain, but as of right now, it doesn't look great for the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium. And this would be the third team to bolt from the Show Me State in the last 50 years. Of course, the 1987 St. Louis Football Cardinals. A lot of you don't know, but Jackie Smith, one of the greatest tight ends of all time.
Yeah,
and then from 1995 to 2016, that team that included the greatest show on turf, winning the Super Bowl with Kurt Warner, the St. Louis Rams. Of course, people remember, went back to Los Angeles. Now, Governor Kehoe, he was not exactly pleased. He said, it's more than just brick and mortar. It's what Lamar Hunt built. It's his legacy. By this decision, you're telling Chiefs fan that legacy isn't important, and this is not only disturbing to me, but I bet this is disturbing to others. So the governor didn't take too lightly to this move, and it is an insult. It's not just like you're moving to a state. You're moving to the enemy state right across the border. This is a deep traditional rivalry that's way bigger than sports. You go back to Civil War, you go back to the border, what it meant if you were a Kansas or you were a Missourian, what you were fighting for, what you were retaliating for. This is not pretty. So it's been a rough go for Missouri fans the last couple of weeks. Not only did Patrick Mahomes go down for the season, the Chiefs missed the playoffs for the first time in 400 years. Yeah. Days later, they announced, okay, Travis Kelce's probably going to retire, and we're going across the border. So my question is, I want to know, hey, Chiefs fans, Will you still be rooting for the Kansas City Chiefs when and if they move to Kansas in 2031, or will you be a free agent? I'm interested to know. Let us know what you guys think of the move, and we'll see how loyal some of our Chiefs fans are. But that's a tough one, right?
That is a tough one, yeah. And the other question I had right off the bat, well, what about the Royals? What are the Royals going to do? So the Royals have already started planning a post-Kauffman Stadium with the hope of having a new ballpark in the Crossroads District in downtown Kansas City. So they're not a part of this move to Kansas, it doesn't look like.
Not yet.
Not yet. That might come, but right now they're still hoping to stay in Kansas City and move downtown. We'll see how that works.
No doubt. Interesting. We'll keep you posted. Okay, hey, our next headline. A lot of you have noticed the headlines from USA Today and the Today Show talking about, hey, we are seeing a surge in influenza. Last week in New York, they had an increase of 38% with cases hitting a record, not just this year, but ever, 71,000, which is the highest week ever, as I said, and cases have gone up this month in 47 states alone. The CDC estimates that it's led to 1,900 deaths in 25, 4.6 million illnesses, and 49,000 hospitalizations. They're calling this, Chris, the variant of influenza A. It's H3N2, subclade K, which about 90% of cases nationwide are this new strand. However, there's been 3 million less flu shots have been administered in the United States in 25 year to date since 2024. And I wanted an expert, so I reached out to Dr. Jenny Powell with Direct Primary Care Clinics about why are we seeing this flu increase. And Dr. Jenny Powell said, I'm going to tell you a few things you can do. Both ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine carry zinc and prevent the replication of the viruses in the infected cell. Ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine. Weaken immune systems is why you get sick. Vitamin D levels need to be greater than 50 ng/ml, which is best for maintaining healthy immune system. And also vitamin C, which has been huge as of late in treating cancer, is great to help your immune system, and you should increase your vitamin C intake. Don't fight the fever. Believe it or not, don't take Tylenol. That reduces glutathione in the body, and elevating body temp is one of the best ways your body fights viruses, especially upper respiratory infections. You've been told that your whole life, right? You have a fever, take Tylenol. Maybe you shouldn't take Tylenol. The increased temperature is a good thing.
Right.
Also important, healthy gut, making sure you get plenty of sleep, and your lack of nutrition will also increase your chances of catching the flu. But Dr. Jenny Powell says, hey, this surge in viral illnesses is secondary to hyper-vaccination, which destroys your immune system by overwhelming it. We've seen this experiment on our deployed military. And so those were a few things. Big shout out to our dear friend, Dr. Jenny Powell. Direct Primary Care Clinics, if you haven't heard of them, go check them out. Pretty special, we appreciate that. But there's some things you can do to keep your family safe and not maybe get into the fear-mongering you're seeing about, hey, take the extra vax, the booster, get right. Well, maybe do some other things.
Yeah, and I think ever since COVID, a lot of us have a very, very, very strong, we question what the CDC says and what they says is right for you and all these things. And we see a whole lot of new statistics about these flu shots and whether they do any good or not any good. I've seen a lot of studies that say the flu shots don't do any good at all. If anything, they might be worse for you. So go do some research on that. Do what you think is right, but don't just necessarily trust the government and the CDC and what they're telling you, because we learned through COVID a lot of what they tell you is BS.
Yeah, that'll preach right there. All right, so hey, really cool event coming up. How about Eagle Days 26, Lake of the Ozarks? Uncle Chris, you love birds.
I do. I love these big birds, right? You know, I mean, I would have one if my wife would let me have one right in the house.
My wife would have one if I would let her have one.
Yeah, I know. They're so cool. But so it's good to be able to see these things up close and personal. So you get a live presentation of the Eagle Days, these birds, you know, of prey at Christ the King Lutheran Church, Dickerson Park Zoo. They present rotating educational programs throughout the day. Bald eagles and owls, native to Missouri. Presentations begin every half hour. Mount Carmel Baptist Church will host hourly live eagle programs presented by World Bird Sanctuary, giving audiences an opportunity to see these birds up close. How cool is that? For those hoping to spot eagles in the wild, viewing scopes will be set up at both the Bagnell Dam River Access and Wilmore Lodge. So this is really, really cool. If you like birds, this is it.
Yeah, one of the coolest things, we saw one this morning, as we often do over the toll bridge.
Yeah.
They're just so majestic. My wife has an eye for it. There's also a kids coloring contest. Always cool, in an amateur photo contest where they accept 5x7 prints and bring binoculars. But the coolest part, it's free to attend.
Yeah.
The whole event, big shout out to Lake of the Ozarks Eagle Days Committee, Michelle Cook, Ameren, Missouri, the Lake Area Chamber of Commerce. Amazing event. Again, January 10th, it's the 26th annual Eagle Days from 9 to 4:30. Pretty cool stuff. So speaking of birds, hey, guess what? I'll believe it when I see it. You remember Deputy Leon Austin, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Not once, not twice, but 3 times, Chris.
So here you go. Wednesday morning, December 17th, a Max Creek resident went to Facebook asking for help after he found an injured owl, right? An injured owl. And here comes Deputy Leon Austin with the Camden County Sheriff's Department. He comes to the rescue, which is weird because, like you said, this isn't the first time this has happened. Earlier this month, Deputy Austin saved a barred owl near Highway 54, which was also heard in Max Creek, apparently. And his first rescue dates back to March of 23 in Osage Beach, where the owl was able to fly away on its own. But it's just kind of weird how this one guy, seems to be involved in all of these owl rescues.
Who are you talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. How many licks does it take to get to the middle of a,
But seriously, Deputy Leon Austin, we call him the Owl Whisperer, but I'm interested, like, what nickname would you give this guy? Deputy Leon Austin. He's just waiting. Anytime he sees anything about an owl, he's like, I gotta be there. Like, this is my calling. And I guarantee you, he'll be hanging out for Eagle Days because they've got owls there on display. He'll be there whispering and hanging out and protecting our flyers.
That was a cute little owl, too, in the picture there.
Good work. Really cool. Our Camden County Sheriff's Office continue to do great work. We love seeing them out there. Continue to interact with the people. And you love the birds. This is a good rescue, right?
Oh, yeah. I love the birds, man.
All right. So, hey, final week of Best Seat in the House contest. Someone's going to take home 2 recliners valued at over $1,000 a piece. Congrats to our Week 17 winner, Pooster Toll. I never can pronounce that right, but that's the second time they've won in 4 weeks. 12 games correct, and on this season, Alma Anderson running away with it a little bit. Nick Reese, no offense, you're going to need a Christmas miracle in the final week. Alma's got a 3-point lead. Nick is 3 points back, and Uncle Chris, you need a hope and a prayer. You're 6 points back. I hate to tell you, you'd been ineligible to win anyway. So that's why I didn't try that hard. Alma and Nick. So congrats to those 3, or at least to those 2, for still being alive, and good luck this weekend, Nick and Alma. And thanks to everyone for participating. It's been so fun to pay attention to.
Think about it next year, too. Jump in and join, because that is so much fun to do that. And I think we'll probably do something for March Madness coming up, right?
Absolutely. Probably going to do another high-stakes contest. We're going to give away another big bundle of meat, so get ready. So, hey, really excited about this. I want to challenge any of you out there play cornhole. Okay, I make my professional debut on January 16th with my partner, Andrew Evans. We're going to be at the Osage Hills Men Cornhole Tournament on January 17th at 11 a.m. Pretty cool stuff. They got chili. You can either bring your own partner or be paired on site. But here, I'm challenging you guys. No one is going to beat Andrew and I in this tournament.
I heard you and Andy were cornholers.
Yeah, I bet you did. The Cornhole Tournament with Church at Osage Hills, January 17th. At 11 a.m., you can register online today. Again, chili provided, and I would like for you guys to come out. Gonna be a blast. See who takes the crown at the first annual Osage Hills Men's Cornhole Tournament on January 17th.
I could do without the cornhole, but I'm a chili.
We don't ever want to be around you when you've had chili. I've been to you to a chili cook-off that you judged before. Just say it wasn't pretty for any of us following that event.
You could hook up ventilation systems.
All right, so hey, I want to tease a couple things for next week. Next week, we're going to have our biggest storylines of 2026. Part 2, I've got an update for you on the Bratz Pro Shops at the Outlet Mall. How about the Pin Seekers Golf Complex? I talked to the developer. I have an update for you there, and Anglers Outpost. So I got an update for you. Tune in next week. I'm also going to talk about how Coach Eli Drinkowitz was exposed during the Gator Bowl and why Mizzou shouldn't even bring him back next year. But before we do that, we're going to end in fitting fashion, our favorite scripture and reflection. Uncle Chris, a lot of times we feel like we have all the days in the world, but the truth is our days are numbered. Psalm 90:12, Moses praying to God, calling out the need for a purposeful life on earth, even in the light of our eternity. We don't have forever, my friends, and it says, teach us to number our days that we get a heart of wisdom. Thanks for watching this week's Cup of Coffee from Slumberland.